Hey everyone, please subscribe. 1 second from you changes everything for me. My name is Jessica Chen. I'm 33 years old, and I own 3 boutique hotels in California. Growing up, whenever my brother came home to visit, my parents made me sleep in the garage. Not a finished garage, a cold, dirty garage with concrete floors and spider webs. Kevin needs his room, my mom would say. You understand, right? I was their daughter. I lived there full time, but I slept in the garage. Last month, my parents came to visit me in San Francisco. They expected to stay at my house. Instead, I handed them a key card to one of my hotels. You'll be more comfortable here, I said with a smile. The cheapest room I own, $89 a night. When they realized what I'd done, my mother's face went red with anger. But I just smiled, because karma tastes sweeter than any apology they never gave. Stay until the end. This story gets satisfying. Let me take you back to the beginning so you understand. I grew up in a suburb outside of Sacramento, California. My dad worked in insurance. My mom was a nurse. We lived in a 3-bedroom house. Nice neighborhood, middle-class life. I have one sibling, my older brother, Kevin. Kevin was 7 years older than me. The first child, the only son. In our family, that made him royalty. From the time I was born, Kevin was the center of everything. His sports games, his achievements, his needs, everything revolved around him. My parents had 3 bedrooms in our house, 1 master bedroom for them, 1 bedroom for Kevin, and 1 smaller bedroom that was supposed to be mine. But when I was 5 years old, that changed. Kevin went away to college. His room sat empty most of the year, but my parents refused to let me use it. That's Kevin's room, my mom said. When he comes home for holidays, he needs his space. But where will I go? I asked. You can sleep on the couch. So during Thanksgiving, Christmas, spring break, and summer, whenever Kevin came home, I lost my bedroom. At first, I slept on the living room couch. It was uncomfortable and I had no privacy, but I dealt with it because I was a kid and had no choice. Then when I was 10, my parents converted the 3rd bedroom into my dad's home office. I need a dedicated workspace, he explained. But that's my room, I said. You can still use it. We'll put a folding bed in there. Except I couldn't use it. Because my dad worked from home 2 days a week, so those days I had nowhere to go. That's when the garage solution started. Our garage was attached to the house but completely unfinished. Concrete floor, exposed insulation, 1 small window. My parents cleared out a corner and put an old twin mattress on the floor. You can sleep here when Kevin visits, my mom said. It's just temporary. Temporary became permanent. Every time Kevin came home, which was at least once a month, I was sent to the garage. No heat in winter, no cooling in summer, just me and the spiders and the cold concrete. I was 10 years old. Mom, it's freezing in here, I'd complain. Use extra blankets. There are spiders. They won't hurt you. I can hear mice. Jessica, stop being dramatic. Kevin needs his room. You'll survive. And I did survive, because I had no choice. Kevin would come home from college, sleep in his comfortable room with his soft bed and his posters and his privacy. And I'd be in the garage shivering under thin blankets trying to sleep. The worst part? Kevin never questioned it. He never said, hey, maybe Jessica should keep her room and I'll sleep on the couch for a few days. He just accepted that his comfort mattered more than mine, because that's what our parents taught him. The garage became my reality. Every holiday, every school break, anytime Kevin decided to visit. Sometimes he'd show up unannounced. Kevin called, my mom would say. He's coming home this weekend. Go set up your bed in the garage. I learned to keep my blankets and pillow in a plastic bin out there, always ready. My friends would ask, can I sleep over? Not this weekend. My brother's visiting. So I have to sleep in the garage. They'd look at me confused. Wait, what? I learned to stop explaining. It was too embarrassing. In middle school, I became quieter, more withdrawn. I stopped inviting friends over, stopped talking about my family. Because how do you explain to people that your parents make you sleep in the garage like a pet? My grades were good, straight A's actually, but my parents barely noticed. Kevin made Dean's List, they'd announce at dinner. I got all A's this semester, I'd say quietly. That's nice, honey. Did we tell you Kevin got an internship at a law firm? Everything was about Kevin. When I was 13, I tried to talk to my mom about it. Mom, I don't think it's fair that I have to sleep in the garage every time Kevin visits. Life isn't fair, Jessica. But I live here. This is my home. It's Kevin's home too. But he doesn't live here anymore. He only visits. That doesn't mean he should be uncomfortable when he comes home. What about me? I'm uncomfortable. She sighed. Jessica, you're being selfish. Kevin works so hard at school. The least we can do is give him a comfortable place to rest when he visits. What about my comfort? You're young. You're flexible. You'll be fine. That conversation told me everything I needed to know. My comfort didn't matter. Kevin's did. I stopped complaining after that. What was the point? When I was 15, I got a part-time job at a coffee shop. I started saving every dollar I made. I had a plan, a secret plan. The day I turned 18, I was leaving, and I was never sleeping in that garage again. When it was time to apply for college, my parents had opinions. You should go to UC Davis, my dad said. It's close. You can live at home and save money. I want to go away for college, I said. Why? You have everything you need here. Everything except respect and a bedroom. I want the full college experience. My mom frowned. That's expensive. Room and board costs a fortune. Kevin lived in a dorm. Kevin got scholarships. Besides, he's studying law. That's an important degree. I'm studying business management. That's not the same thing. Of course it wasn't. Nothing I did was ever the same thing as Kevin. I applied to schools anyway. Schools far from home. I got accepted to San Francisco State University. 3 hours away. Perfect. I'm going to SF State, I announced at dinner. My dad put down his fork. Jessica, we discussed this. You're going to Davis. No, you discussed it. I'm going to San Francisco. We're not paying for room and board. I know. I'll take out loans. My mom looked upset. You're going to start your adult life in debt? Kevin has student loans. Kevin's loans were for law school. That's an investment. And my education isn't? They couldn't stop me. I was 18. I'd already accepted the offer. That summer before college, Kevin came home for a week. As always, I was sent to the garage. But this time was different. I knew it was the last time. I lay on that uncomfortable mattress, staring at the exposed beams in the ceiling, and I made a promise to myself. One day, I'd be successful enough that I'd never have to accept less than I deserved. One day, I'd have so much space that no one could ever take it away from me. I went to San Francisco with nothing but 2 suitcases and fierce determination. I shared a tiny dorm room with 3 other girls. It was cramped and loud, but it was mine. No one could kick me out. No one could send me to the garage. I worked 2 part-time jobs while going to school full-time. I waited tables at a restaurant in the evenings and worked at the campus bookstore between classes. I barely slept. I lived on ramen and coffee, but I was free. During my sophomore year, I got a job at a boutique hotel near campus. Front desk work, $15 an hour. I loved it immediately. The hotel was small, only 30 rooms, but it was beautiful, cozy, personal. The owner, Mrs. Patricia Wong, was a woman in her 60s who'd built the business from nothing. You're good with people, she told me after my first month. You should consider hospitality management. Really? Really. This industry needs smart, hardworking people. You could go far. That conversation changed everything. I changed my major to hospitality management. I started learning everything about running hotels, operations, marketing, customer service, finances. Mrs. Wong became my mentor. She taught me things they didn't teach in school. In this business, you're selling more than rooms, she said. You're selling experiences, comfort, a feeling of being welcomed. I thought about the garage, about never feeling welcomed in my own home. I understand that, I told her. During those 4 years, I went home exactly twice, Thanksgiving of sophomore year, and my grandmother's funeral junior year. Both times I stayed in a hotel. When my parents asked why, I said, I don't want to kick Kevin out of his room. My mom looked annoyed. Jessica, don't be petty. I'm not. I'm being considerate. But really, I was being free. I graduated with honors. Mrs. Wong offered me a full-time position as assistant manager. I said yes. For 2 years, I worked under her, learning everything about running a hotel. Then one day, she called me into her office. Jessica, I'm retiring. I'm selling the hotel. My heart sank. What? I'm 70 years old. I want to travel while I still can. I'll miss you. She smiled. I'm offering you first right to purchase. I stared at her. What? Buy the hotel. I know you don't have money now, but we can work out terms. A payment plan. Mrs. Wong, I can't afford... You can. I believe in you. 3 months later, at 26 years old, I became a hotel owner. Mrs. Wong carried a private loan for me. I paid her monthly. It was terrifying and exhilarating. For the first 2 years, I worked 18-hour days. I did everything: front desk, housekeeping, maintenance, marketing. I slept in one of the rooms to save money on rent. I ate leftover breakfast buffet food. I sacrificed everything. But slowly, the hotel started thriving. I renovated rooms, improved service, built a reputation. By 28, I'd paid off Mrs. Wong completely. By 30, I bought a second hotel. By 32, I bought a third. 3 boutique hotels in San Francisco. Total value, about $8 million. I was successful, really successful, and my family barely knew. I talked to my parents maybe 4 times a year. Obligatory calls on birthdays and holidays. The conversations were always the same. How are you, Jessica? Good. Busy with work. Still working at that hotel? I own 3 hotels now, Mom. That's nice. Kevin just made partner at his law firm. Always about Kevin. I'd stopped expecting anything different. Then last year, something changed. My mom called me. Not on a holiday, just a random Tuesday. Jessica, I need to talk to you about something. Okay. Your father and I want to come visit you. I was surprised. They'd never visited me in San Francisco. Why? We haven't seen you in 2 years. We want to see your life. When? Next month. We can stay with you for a long weekend. My first instinct was to say no, but then I had an idea. Sure, Mom. I'd love to have you visit. Wonderful. We'll fly in Friday and leave Monday. Perfect. After we hung up, I smiled. This was going to be interesting. The day they arrived, I picked them up from the airport. They hugged me briefly. My dad looked around. Traffic is terrible here, he said. Yeah, it's a big city. We drove to my house, a beautiful townhouse I'd bought in Pacific Heights. They walked in, looking around. This is nice, my mom said, sounding surprised. Thank you. How can you afford this on a hotel worker's salary? I don't work for a hotel, Mom. I own 3 hotels. My dad blinked. You own them? Yes, I told you that. I thought you meant you managed them. No, I own them. They're mine. They exchanged glances. Well, my mom said, that's impressive. It wasn't the praise I'd wanted as a child, but it was something. They settled into my guest room. I made dinner. We made small talk. They talked about Kevin. He was married now, 2 kids, successful law practice. I listened and nodded. The next day, I gave them a tour of one of my hotels. They walked through the lobby, impressed despite themselves. This is beautiful, my mom said. Thank you. I renovated it myself. Well, oversaw the renovation. How much does a room cost here? $250 a night. My dad whistled. That's expensive. It's San Francisco, and the experience is worth it. We had lunch at the hotel restaurant. I introduced them to my staff. Everyone was professional and kind. My team knew I was the owner and treated me with respect. I could see my parents noticing. That evening, back at my house, my mom said something unexpected. We're very proud of you, Jessica. I looked up from my wine glass. Are you? Of course. Look at what you've built. You never seemed proud before. That's not true. Mom, you didn't even know I owned hotels until yesterday. She looked uncomfortable. "You never really explained what you did. I told you multiple times. You just never listened." "Well, we're listening now. It was too little, too late. But I accepted it." Sunday morning, they came downstairs with their suitcases packed. "What's this?" I asked. "We're checking out," my dad said. I was confused. "What do you mean?" "We're going to stay at one of your hotels," my mom said. "We want to experience it as guests." My heart started racing. This was my moment. "Oh, you want to stay at my hotel?" "Yes. Can you get us a room?" "Of course." I pulled out my phone. "Let me call my manager." I made a call, booked them a room. All set. The Crimson Hotel, my smallest property. "Great! Can we get a discount since you're the owner?" I smiled sweetly. "Mom, I don't give family discounts. It's bad business." Her face fell slightly. "Oh, okay." We drove to the hotel. I walked them to the front desk. My manager, Tom, handed them a key card. "Room 204. That'll be $89 for tonight." My dad pulled out his credit card. "Only one night?" "You said you were leaving tomorrow," I reminded him. "We thought maybe we could extend—" "We're fully booked tomorrow," Tom said smoothly. We weren't, but he understood the assignment. They took their key and went to their room. Room 204 was my cheapest room, smallest, facing the alley, street noise, no view. It was clean and functional, but basic. Nothing like the $250 luxury rooms on the upper floors. An hour later, my mom called me. "Jessica, this room is quite small." "It's a standard room. That's what was available. Don't you have anything bigger?" "Not tonight. We're very busy." "Even for family?" "Especially for family. I don't play favorites." There was a pause. I could practically hear her processing that comment. "Oh, I see. Enjoy your stay. I'll see you at checkout tomorrow." After my parents left San Francisco, I didn't hear from them for 2 weeks. Then Kevin called. "Jessica, what the hell?" "Hello to you too. Mom told me you made them pay to stay at your hotel. They wanted to stay there. I booked them a room." "You charged your own parents?" "Yes, it's a business. I charge everyone. That's cold." I laughed. "Is it? Remember when I had to sleep in the garage every time you visited?" Silence. "That was different," he finally said. "How?" "I was in college. I needed my room. It was my room too. I lived there full time, but I got kicked to the garage so you could be comfortable for a few days." "That was Mom and Dad's decision, and you never questioned it. You never once said, 'Hey, maybe Jessica should keep her room.' You just accepted that you were more important." "I didn't think about it like that." "Exactly. You didn't think about me at all." He was quiet for a long moment. "I'm sorry." Those words. I'd waited 20 years to hear them. "Thank you for saying that." I really didn't realize how bad it was. "It was bad, Kevin. Really bad. Mom and Dad are upset. They think you're punishing them." "I'm not punishing them. I'm just treating them the way they treated me. No special treatment, no priority, just standard service." "That seems petty." "Maybe. Or maybe it's justice." After we hung up, I felt lighter. For years, I'd internalized the idea that I didn't matter as much as Kevin, that my comfort, my needs, my feelings were secondary. But I'd built a life where I mattered, where I was the priority, and I wasn't going to apologize for that. 2 months later, Kevin called again. "I'm coming to San Francisco for a conference. Can I stay with you?" I thought about it. "When?" "Next Thursday through Sunday." "Sure, you can stay at one of my hotels." "I meant at your house." "I know what you meant, but I have a guest room and I like my privacy." "Jessica, come on. I'm your brother." "Exactly. And my hotels are beautiful. You'll love it." He sighed. "Fine. Can I at least get a family discount?" "No." "Seriously?" "Seriously." He arrived Thursday afternoon. I booked him at my nicest hotel, the Silver Line, $295 a night, for 4 nights. He checked in and I met him for dinner that evening. "This place is incredible," he admitted. "The room is amazing." "Thank you. But $300 a night? That's steep. It's the going rate for luxury accommodations in San Francisco." We had dinner. It was surprisingly pleasant. He asked about my business, actually listened to my answers. He told me about his law practice, his wife, his kids. It was the first real conversation we'd had in years. "I talked to Mom," he said over dessert. "She's really upset about the hotel thing." I figured. "She said you were being cruel." "Cruel? Kevin, I gave them a clean, safe place to stay. That's more than they gave me growing up." The garage thing again, it wasn't just the garage. It was everything. It was always being second, always being less important, always being the one who had to sacrifice. He was quiet. "You know what the sad part is?" I continued. "I would have been so happy if they'd just acknowledged it. If they'd said, 'We're sorry we made you feel less important,' but they never did. Maybe they don't see it that way. That's the problem. They don't see it. They still think they were being fair. So, charging them for a hotel room is your way of making them see it? No. It's my way of establishing boundaries. They want to be in my life? Fine, but on my terms now, not theirs." He nodded slowly. "I get it." "Do you?" "Yeah, I do. And I'm sorry for not seeing it before, for not standing up for you. Thank you." We finished dinner, walked back to his hotel. "By the way," I said, "you're getting the family rate." He looked surprised. "I thought you didn't do family rates." "I don't, for Mom and Dad. But you apologized. You're trying, so you get 25% off." He laughed. "I'll take it." The next day, Kevin invited me to lunch. "I want to talk to you about something," he said. "Okay." "I'm thinking about talking to Mom and Dad, about how they treated you." "Kevin, you don't have to. I want to. Because you're right. It wasn't fair, and they need to hear it from someone other than you." I felt tears starting. That would mean a lot. "You're my sister." "I should have protected you. I didn't, but I can try to make it right now." 2 weeks later, Kevin called me. I talked to them. "How did it go?" "Not great. Mom got defensive. Dad said you're holding a grudge." Of course they did. But I kept pushing. I told them how messed up it was, that you deserved better. What did they say? Eventually, Mom admitted that maybe they could have handled things differently. It's not a full apology, but it's something. It's more than I expected. Give them time. They're stubborn, but I think it's sinking in. Last month, my parents called. "We're having a family gathering for Thanksgiving. We want you to come." "Where?" "Our house." I hesitated. "Who's going to be there?" "Everyone. Kevin, his wife, the kids, your cousins." "Where would I sleep?" There was a pause. "We have the guest room," my mom said. "The guest room? You mean Dad's office? He doesn't use it as much anymore. We put a real bed in there." "What about Kevin? Where does he sleep now?" Another pause. "Kevin stays at a hotel when he visits." I almost dropped the phone. "What?" "He prefers it. Says it's easier with the kids." "When did this start?" "A few months ago, after he talked to us. Kevin had actually changed things. He'd stopped taking my room." "Okay," I said. "I'll come. But I'm staying at a hotel." "Jessica, we have space now." "I know, but I prefer hotels. I'm more comfortable there." "Is this still about the garage?" "Mom, it's not about punishment. It's about me choosing what makes me comfortable, just like Kevin does now." She was quiet. "Okay, I understand." I flew home for Thanksgiving. I stayed at a nice hotel downtown. Spacious room, comfortable bed, room service. On Thanksgiving Day, I drove to my parents' house. The whole family was there. Kevin and his family, my cousins, my aunt and uncle. Everyone greeted me warmly. "Jessica, we heard you own hotels," my aunt said. "3 of them," I confirmed. "That's amazing." My parents stood awkwardly in the corner. After dinner, my mom pulled me aside. "Can we talk?" We went to the back porch, just the two of us. "I've been thinking a lot," she said, "about what Kevin said, about how we treated you." "Okay. And I want you to know, I'm sorry." I looked at her carefully. "For what specifically?" "For making you sleep in the garage. For always prioritizing Kevin. For not seeing how much that hurt you." Tears filled my eyes. "Thank you for saying that. I don't know why we did it. Maybe because Kevin was the first. Maybe because he was the son. Maybe because you were always so independent that we thought you didn't need us as much. I needed you. I just learned to hide it. I know, and I'm sorry. You deserved better. We both cried, hugged. It wasn't perfect. Years of hurt don't heal in one conversation. But it was a start. That night, as I drove back to my hotel, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. 3 months after Thanksgiving, I did something I never thought I'd do. I invited my parents to stay with me. At my house, in my guest room. "Really?" my mom asked when I called. "Really. Come visit for a week. Stay at my house." "We don't want to impose." "You're not imposing. I'm inviting you." They flew out the following month. I picked them up from the airport. They stayed in my beautiful guest room, the one with the comfortable bed and the view of the city and the private bathroom. I took time off work. We spent the week together. We visited my hotels. I showed them how the business worked. They met my staff, saw how respected I was. "You've built something incredible," my dad said one evening. "Thank you. I wish I'd encouraged you more when you were younger." "I wish you had too." "But I did it anyway." "You did. You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for." One afternoon, I took them to the hotel where I'd first worked. Mrs. Wong's hotel, though it was under new ownership now. "This is where I learned everything," I told them. "Mrs. Wong taught me that I was capable of more than I thought." "We should have been the ones teaching you that," my mom said quietly. "Yes, you should have. Can we try now to be better?" I thought about it. "We can try, but it's going to take time, and I'm going to have boundaries." "We understand." The last night of their visit, we had dinner at my house, just the three of us. "Do you remember what you used to call Kevin's room?" I asked. My parents looked uncomfortable. "Kevin's room," my dad said. "Right. It was always Kevin's room, even when he wasn't living there, even when I needed it." "We should have called it the guest room," my mom said, "and you should have had priority since you lived there." "Yes, I should have. I'm sorry, Jessica. We really are." I nodded. "I'm starting to believe you." Before they left, my mom hugged me tight. "I'm proud of you, not just for your success, but for your strength, for not letting us break you. You didn't break me. You just taught me to build my own life. You built a beautiful life." I did, and I did it without sleeping in anyone's garage. She laughed through tears. "No more garages, I promise." It's been 6 months since my parents' visit. We talk on the phone once a week now. Real conversations, not just surface-level small talk. They ask about my work, my life, my happiness. They've visited twice more. Both times they stayed at my house. Both times they asked if I was sure it was okay. "It's okay," I assured them. "You're welcome here." Kevin and I have gotten closer too. He brings his family to visit. They stay at one of my hotels. He pays full price, insists on it. "Fair is fair," he says. Last month, my parents did something that surprised me. They sold their house in Sacramento, the house where I slept in the garage for years. They downsized to a 2-bedroom condo. "We don't need all that space anymore," my mom said. And honestly, that house had too many bad memories. Where will Kevin stay when he visits? "He'll stay at a hotel," my dad said, "like you do when you visit us." It felt like closure, like the house that represented all that pain was finally gone. Last week, my mom sent me a photo. It was her guest room in their new condo. The caption read, "Jessica's room. You always have a place here." I cried when I saw it. Not because I needed a room at their house, but because it was the acknowledgement I'd waited for my whole life. I matter. I have a place. I belong. Tomorrow, I'm flying to Sacramento to visit them. I'm staying at their condo, in Jessica's room. Not because I have to, but because I choose to, because I'm not that little girl sleeping in the garage anymore. I'm a woman who built her own empire, who owns 3 hotels and has a place wherever she goes, who doesn't need anyone's approval to know she's worthy. But it's nice to finally have it anyway. So here's what I learned from all of this. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a life so good that the people who hurt you finally see what they missed. My parents made me sleep in a garage, so I bought hotels, not to punish them, but to prove to myself that I deserved better. And eventually, they saw it too. So let me ask you, if your family made you feel less important, how did you respond? Did you get revenge? Did you forgive? Did you do both? Let me know in the comments. And if this story resonated with you, please subscribe, because you are not the garage girl. You are the empire builder. My name is Jessica Chen. I slept in a garage. Now I own 3 hotels, and my parents sleep wherever I decide. But mostly, they sleep knowing they were wrong. And that's the real victory. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Remember, the best way to respond to being treated poorly is to treat yourself better than anyone else ever did. Build your empire. Own your worth. Take up space. You deserve it.